Welcome to Barbara's Bulletin, the podcast where we bring you the latest news and updates from around the world. We have a lot of exciting stories to share with you, but first, let's dive into our top story. The United States has been making headlines lately with its multi-pronged campaign targeting Venezuela. According to recent reports, the U.S. Coast Guard has intercepted a third oil tanker off the coast of Venezuela in just 2 weeks. This move is part of a larger effort by the U.S. government to put pressure on the Venezuelan government and restrict its ability to export oil. President Trump has summarized Washington's campaign against Venezuela, stating that the U.S. will keep the oil as well as the ships. The U.S. has also assembled a massive military presence in the Caribbean Sea, which has raised concerns about the potential for escalation. On the other hand, some experts argue that the U.S. actions are necessary to counter Venezuela's alleged attempts to evade sanctions and export oil illegally. It's a complex issue with different perspectives, and we'll be sure to bring you more updates as the situation develops. Meanwhile, in other news, the Africa Cup of Nations 2025 is underway, with Mohamed Salah giving Egypt a win in a recent match. We'll also be keeping an eye on the Turning Point USA's AmericaFest convention, where divisions are reportedly ripe among attendees. We'll be right back with more of today's top news on Barbara's Bulletin. Welcome back to Barbara's Bulletin. We're continuing our coverage of global news, and today we're focusing on the ongoing conflict between Russia and Ukraine. Reports have emerged that Russian air attacks have resulted in the deaths of at least 2 people and knocked out power across Ukraine. The attacks have been condemned by Ukrainian officials, who claim that the strikes were targeted at civilian infrastructure. In a related development, the Moscow-installed governor of annexed Crimea, Sergei Aksyonov, has announced that mobile internet access will be restricted in the region for the duration of Russia's war in Ukraine. This move is seen as a security measure to prevent Ukrainian forces from using the internet to coordinate drone attacks against Russian targets. It's worth noting that similar restrictions have been implemented in other regions of Russia, including Ulyanovsk, where the governor has also announced open-ended mobile internet restrictions tied to the war. These measures have raised concerns among residents and businesses who rely on the internet for communication and commerce. As the conflict between Russia and Ukraine continues to escalate, it's essential to consider the humanitarian implications of these actions. The restriction of internet access can have far-reaching consequences, including limiting access to information, hindering economic activity, and disrupting critical services such as healthcare and education. We'll continue to monitor the situation and provide updates as more information becomes available. In the meantime, we urge all parties involved to prioritize the safety and well-being of civilians and to work towards a peaceful resolution to the conflict. Welcome back to Barbara's Bulletin. As we close out today's show, I want to bring you up to speed on a developing story that's been making waves in the international community. It appears that U.S. President Donald Trump has reignited his interest in acquiring Greenland, an autonomous territory under the Kingdom of Denmark. This move has sparked a strong reaction from Danish officials, with Foreign Minister Lars Løkke Rasmussen summoning the U.S. ambassador to explain the president's comments. According to reports, Trump announced plans to appoint Louisiana Governor Jeff Landry as a special envoy to Greenland, with the aim of making it part of the United States. The Danish government has made it clear that they will not entertain this idea, with Løkke Rasmussen stating that an attack on one part of the kingdom is an attack on the entire kingdom. Greenland's Prime Minister, Jens Frederik Nielsen, has also pushed back against Trump's demand, emphasizing that the territory belongs to the Greenlanders and its territorial integrity must be respected. The European community has rallied around Denmark, with French President Emmanuel Macron reaffirming France's support for the sovereignty and territorial integrity of Denmark and Greenland. It's worth noting that this isn't the first time Trump has expressed interest in acquiring Greenland. In 2019, he floated the idea of buying the island, which was met with skepticism and resistance from Danish officials. This latest development has raised concerns about the potential implications for global politics and the relationships between nations. As we follow this story, it's essential to consider the complexities and nuances involved. We'll continue to monitor the situation and provide updates as more information becomes available. For now, it's clear that the Danish government is standing firm in its opposition to Trump's plans, and the international community is watching with great interest. That's all for today's Barbara's Bulletin. Remember to like, share, and subscribe, and until next time, stay engaged.